My future MIL mocked me as an ordinary girl at dinner. On my wedding day, she whispered, Ethan made a mistake. They all knew, they just didn't know what I was about to do. You know, I thought I was finally walking down the aisle to my happily ever after, but what I found at the end of it wasn't a future. It was a brutal, orchestrated betrayal that ripped my world apart, and honestly, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. The first time they really tried to put me in my place, I was so utterly stunned I couldn't even speak. It was months before my own wedding, at Ethan's cousin's ridiculously lavish event. Picture this, a private vineyard, the kind of place where even the napkins probably cost more than my monthly rent. I'd spent hours getting ready, trying to look perfect, because Ethan always drilled it into me that his family cared about presentation. But the second we stepped foot there, I knew I was already fighting a losing battle. His mother, the queen bee herself, looked me up and down with this barely concealed smirk. Oh, honey, she cooed, her voice dripping with fake sweetness. I wish you'd told me you didn't have anything appropriate to wear. I would have helped you find something classier. A few of the women nearby actually stifled giggles behind their champagne glasses. Then his sister, Melanie, leaned in, pretending to adjust my earring. Next time, just ask me, okay? You don't want to stand out for the wrong reasons. Ethan? He just kissed my temple, murmured, just ignore them, babe. They don't mean anything by it, and moved on. And so, I ignored it. I ignored it when they seated me at the absolute furthest end of the table, miles away from the family. I ignored it when one of Ethan's aunts genuinely asked if I was his assistant. And I definitely ignored it when his sister's friend giggled, oh my god, she's adorable. Like a little stray kitten Ethan decided to keep. What else was I supposed to do? I just laughed along, the sound hollow even to my own ears. But later that night, in Ethan's sleek, impersonal apartment, something inside me finally snapped. Why didn't you say anything? My voice was shaking, thick with unshed tears. He sighed, running a hand through his perfectly tousled hair. Say what, babe? That my family is kind of elitist? That they're not the nicest people? You already know that. But this felt different. Yeah, but they humiliated me. They treat me like some desperate charity case you picked up off the street. Ethan just shrugged, completely unconcerned. They just need time. You're different from what they expected. My stomach twisted. What they expected? He hesitated, just for a second, but it was long enough. You know, someone more like them. And just like that, it hit me. A cold, hard truth, I would never be enough for them. And maybe, just maybe, I wasn't even enough for him. Still, I stayed. I clung to the delusional hope that once I officially became his wife, everything would magically change. Oh, how wrong I was. The next major blow came at our own engagement party. The ballroom was packed, glittering with Ethan's family, his parents' friends, all radiating that quiet, effortless wealth that doesn't need to announce itself, it just is. My few guests looked painfully out of place, shrinking into the corners. His mother clinked her glass, a picture of beaming false sincerity. See, she purred to the crowd. Even an ordinary girl can get a chance at a better life if she just waits long enough. Laughter rippled through the room. Ethan just squeezed my hand, a quick, dismissive whisper, my mom's humor is a little harsh. You'll get used to it. Back then, I convinced myself it was just a joke. But then, there were other moments. Like the time I went over for dinner, and everyone else was feasting on prime steak, while I was served a sad, plain chicken breast with no sides. You're such a simple girl, his mother smiled, this is healthier for you. Or Melanie's birthday, where she unwrapped Prada bags, diamond bracelets, a Rolex. My gift? A designer jewelry box I'd spent my last savings on. She looked at it, made a confused face, and drawled, oh, this is from a clearance sale, right? I still felt that sting of embarrassment, but the worst part? Ethan never stood up for me. Not when his friend joked that I was a good deal because I wasn't picky and would be grateful for any engagement ring. He just laughed along. Not when his mom conveniently forgot to invite me to a family dinner. Don't take it personally, he'd say. She's just forgetful. And I stayed. Because I truly believed that once I was his wife, things would change. That they would finally accept me. That they might even love me. Then came my wedding day. And that's when I found out the sickening, absolute truth. They all knew about his affair. And not just knew, they planned to keep me silent. That morning, I woke up with this strange, heavy feeling in my chest. It wasn't excitement, it wasn't nerves. It was something dark, unsettling, like my body already knew a truth my mind hadn't quite caught up to yet. I sat in the opulent bridal suite, wrapped in a silk robe, staring at my reflection. My hair was perfect, makeup flawless. The designer dress hanging in the corner looked like something out of a fairy tale. It was everything I dreamed of. So why did it feel like I was walking into a trap? "You look beautiful, my best friend," Mia said from the doorway. "You don't sound happy about it," I tried to joke, but even I could hear the tension in my voice. Mia hesitated. She was never one to sugarcoat things, but this time, she looked genuinely conflicted. "Listen," she began, her voice unusually careful. "Are you sure about this? About him?" "Mia, no, seriously," I pleaded. She sat next to me, her expression hardening. "I've kept my mouth shut for years. I saw the way they treated you, terribly, and you kept saying it would get better. But it hasn't. And now you're about to marry into this family, and she exhaled sharply. "I need to know that you're sure." I swallowed hard. Was I? Before I could answer, the door flew open. It was Ethan's sister, Melanie, looking effortlessly perfect in her maid of honor gown. "Oh, good," she chirped, completely ignoring Mia. "Mom wants to talk to you before the ceremony. It's important." Mia gave me a look that said, "Don't do it," but I stood up anyway. "I'll be right back," I told her, my heart already pounding. His mother was waiting in one of the private lounges, sipping champagne like it was just another Tuesday. "Sit," she said, gesturing to the chair across from her. I sat. She studied me for a moment, then sighed, as if I was the inconvenience. "I'm going to be frank with you," she began. "You've always been different from the women we expected for Ethan. But you've handled yourself well enough." "Gee, thanks," I muttered under my breath. She ignored me. "Marriage," she continued, "isn't just about love. It's about practicality. Stability. Family. Image." I frowned. "What are you getting at?" She took another sip of champagne, then dropped the bomb that shattered everything. "Ethan made a mistake. It was a lapse in judgment. But it meant nothing." I went still. "Excuse me?" She sighed, as if I were being unreasonable. "The girl was a phase, a distraction. But she doesn't matter. What matters is keeping this family's reputation intact." I felt my pulse throbbing in my throat. "How long?" "It ended months ago," she said smoothly. "Before you even got engaged." A lie. I could tell. I felt sick. "And you knew?" My voice was barely a whisper. She looked at me like I was a child. "Of course I knew. We all did." My stomach flipped. "You're telling me every single one of you knew Ethan was being unfaithful to me, and no one thought to say anything?" She tilted her head. "Why would we? You're still here, aren't you?" My breath caught. The casual cruelty of it. The absolute certainty that I would just swallow this, like I'd swallowed everything else. That I would smile, walk down that aisle, say I do like a good little wife. Something inside me snapped. I stood up so fast my chair scraped against the floor. Her eyes widened. "Sit down." "No," she set down her glass, her expression tightening. "You're overreacting." "Overreacting?" I laughed, sharp and humorless. "Your son was unfaithful to me, your whole family covered for him, and you think I should just go through with this wedding like nothing happened?" "It was a mistake," she repeated, standing up too. "Do you really want to throw away everything over one stupid mistake?" I stared at her. She actually thought I was weak enough to go through with it. She actually thought I'd rather be humiliated in silence than stand up for myself. Not this time. I turned for the door. Where are you going? Her voice sharpened. You will not humiliate this family. I turned back, smiling sweetly. Oh, don't worry. I picked up the bottle of champagne from the table. The only one getting humiliated today is Ethan. And then, I walked out. I stormed back into the bridal suite, heart pounding like a drum. Mia stood up immediately. What happened? He was unfaithful to me, I said, my voice surprisingly steady. His whole family knew. Mia's face darkened instantly. That jerk. I grabbed my wedding dress off the hanger. Not to put it on. To rip it apart. Mia grabbed my hands. Wait. I looked at her, my eyes wild. If you walk out now, they win, she said, her voice firm. They'll spin this however they want, make it look like you were unstable, like you just got cold feet. But if you want to destroy him, if you want to take them down, her lips curled into a dangerous, beautiful smile. You have to do it right. I took a shaky breath. What are you thinking? Mia's grin widened. We're not canceling this wedding, babe. We're turning it into a funeral. The ballroom was absolutely breathtaking. Crystal chandeliers, floor-to-ceiling floral arrangements, a live string quartet playing something elegant. Hundreds of guests were sipping champagne, their chatter filling the air, all waiting for the ceremony to start. Ethan stood at the altar, all charm and confidence in his custom tuxedo, chatting with his groomsmen like he hadn't just been exposed as a lying, cheating fool. Like he actually believed I was still going to marry him. Oh, Ethan, bless your heart. Mia smoothed out my dress, adjusted my veil. Ready? She asked. I grinned. I was born ready. The grand doors swung open. Every single head turned. A hush fell over the crowd, that kind of suffocating silence that only happens when something isn't quite right, but no one dares to say it out loud. I took my time walking down that aisle, soaking in every wide-eyed stare, watching every fake smile start to twitch, every uncomfortable shift. Ethan's grin was bright and oblivious, until I stopped walking. Right before I reached him. The whispers started. He frowned, stepping forward. Babe? I held up a hand. Don't. The room went dead silent. Ethan's mother, perched in the front row, was already looking at me like she knew what was coming, like she was calculating how fast she could spin this into a lie. I smiled at her. Then I turned to the guests. Thank you all for coming, I said, my voice carrying clearly through the ballroom. Truly. This has been a long time coming. And I know you've all been looking forward to this day, almost as much as I have. Ethan laughed nervously. Babe, what are you doing? I ignored him. Marriage is built on trust, I continued, scanning the crowd, holding their gaze. On honesty. On knowing that the person standing beside you will always have your back. Murmurs spread. Ethan shifted beside me, reaching for my hand. Okay, babe, let's just. I stepped out of reach. Which is why, I said sweetly, I think it's only fair that everyone here knows exactly what kind of man Ethan really is. Gasps. Ethan's face drained of color. What the heck are you talking about? I turned to him, still smiling. You know, love, it's funny. I had this tiny feeling, right? This little voice telling me something was off. And then your mom, bless her heart, decided to confirm it for me. I turned back to the guests. Ethan has been cheating on me for months, maybe even years. And his whole family? They knew. They covered for him, because apparently keeping up appearances is more important than a little thing like loyalty. Dead silence. Then, oh my God, are you serious? No freaking way. Ethan's father stood up. Now, hold on just a minute. I held up my hand again. No, you hold on. You've all had your turn to speak. Now it's mine. Ethan's mother's jaw clenched. This is childish. Sit down and we can discuss this like adults. Oh, I am an adult, I said lightly. That's why I'm not marrying your son. Ethan grabbed my wrist. You're making a mistake. I yanked my arm free. No, Ethan. You did. Over and over again. And then, with all the grace and poise I had faked for years, I picked up a glass of champagne from the nearest table and threw it in his face. The room exploded. People gasping, standing, whispering. Ethan stumbled back, dripping, his face twisted with shock. Are you crazy? Crazy? I laughed, tossing the empty glass aside. No. Just finally awake. His mother let out a horrified shriek. His father buried his face in his hands. Melanie pulled out her phone, no doubt texting the entire country club. And then, the best part. The doors flew open. And in walked her. The side chick. She was everything I expected, tall, model thin, perfect hair, perfect lips, a dress that probably cost more than my car. The kind of woman his family would have actually approved of. The irony made me want to laugh. What the heck is she doing here? Ethan hissed. I smirked. Oh, didn't you hear? I invited her. Mia beamed from the back of the room, holding up her phone. It was easy, really, she called out. A little social media stalking, a quick DM, and boom. She was more than happy to show up. The girl folded her arms, glaring at Ethan. So this is why you ghosted me? The guests were absolutely loving this. Ethan's mother looked like she was about to faint. This is ridiculous. Ethan sputtered. You planned this. I smiled sweetly. Of course I did. I couldn't let you get away without a proper send-off. The girl scoffed, tossing her hair over her shoulder. Wow. You told me you were single. Gasps. Ethan's mouth opened and closed. But she wasn't done. You said you were trapped in a relationship with some clingy, boring girl who wouldn't let you go. The crowd erupted. Ethan spluttered, that's not. I turned to the guests. Well, I suppose that settles it then. I took off my engagement ring, held it up for everyone to see, and dropped it on the floor. It landed with a tiny, perfect clink. I turned on my heel, lifted my dress, and walked straight out of that ballroom. But not before I heard the beautiful, beautiful sound of Ethan's mother screaming, "Get back here and fix this." I grinned. I had just burned their perfect world to the ground, and I had never felt more alive. The moment I stepped out of that ballroom, a weight I didn't even know I was carrying lifted off my chest. For years, I had shrunk myself to fit into their world, smiling when they mocked me, swallowing my pride when they treated me like an outsider, nodding along and convincing myself that if I just held on a little longer, they would accept me. I was done waiting. And judging by the absolute chaos erupting behind me, they were just starting to realize it. Mia was already outside, holding the car door open. Get in, Queen. We have a victory lap to take. I yanked off my veil, kicked off my heels, and slid into the passenger seat. The second the door shut, I let out a breathless laugh. Holy heck, did that just happen? Mia grinned. Oh, it happened. And you were a freaking legend. As she sped out of the venue, my phone exploded with notifications. Messages, missed calls, voicemails, all from Ethan. Where the heck are you? Come back right now. We can fix this. You're being dramatic. Don't ruin both our lives over one mistake. I rolled my eyes and blocked his number. A minute later, my phone buzzed again. Ethan's mom. You need to come back immediately. This is unacceptable. Do you have any idea what you've done to our family's reputation? You're being incredibly selfish. We welcomed you into our world, and this is how you repay us? I laughed, showing Mia. Guess what? I'm selfish now. She snorted. About time. You deserve an award. I blocked his mom, too. Another buzz, this time from Ethan's sister, Melanie. Okay, I know you hate us right now, but holy heck, that was iconic. Mom's losing her mind, Ethan is crying like actual tears, Dad left to reconsider his will. I shouldn't say this, but I always kind of liked you. Can I still follow you on Instagram? Mia glanced over. What does she want? I showed her the messages. Mia cackled. Oh, now they like you? Ain't that convenient? I ignored the messages and turned my phone off completely. For the first time in years, I didn't owe them a single freaking thing. We stopped at a gas station where Mia bought me an energy drink and a bag of spicy chips. The true food of champions. So, what now? She asked, tossing me a pair of sunglasses. I sighed. I don't know. I spent so much time trying to survive that wedding, I didn't really think about what came after. Mia bit into her chip, then suddenly froze. Babe? I frowned. What? She turned her phone toward me. You might want to see this. The second I saw the screen, my stomach dropped. A video. A high-quality, perfectly angled video of my wedding day mic drop moment. Over 2 million views. The title, Bride exposes groom in front of everyone plus throws drink in his face. She ate him up, OMG. The comments section was absolutely unhinged. She's a national hero. Not all heroes wear capes, some wear wedding dresses and a revenge smirk. This woman woke up and chose chaos, and I respect her for that. Ethan crying in the background is my Roman Empire. I scrolled further. Ethan's side chick had even commented, ladies, always check the DM requests. This could be you one day. I choked on my drink. Oh my god. Mia was losing her mind. Girl, you're a freaking legend. I turned my phone back on, just for fun. It was worse than I expected. Ethan's mom had left at least 10 voicemails. I played the first one on speaker. You manipulative little liar. Click, Mia cackled. Wow, she didn't even finish the sentence. The next one was more desperate. This isn't funny. Do you have any idea how many people are talking about this? The board members. The investors. Click, I skipped to the most recent. Listen to me, you ungrateful F. Click, I smirked. They're in shambles. Mia nodded solemnly. I love that for you. Just when I thought I had seen everything, another text came in. From Ethan's dad. I nearly ignored it, but curiosity got the better of me. I should have stopped this wedding before it started. I knew my son didn't deserve you. For what it's worth, I'm sorry. I blinked. Mia peered over my shoulder. Well, dang. That's unexpected. I shrugged and tossed my phone aside. Too little, too late. She nodded. Exactly. Now, let's go celebrate your freedom. And with that, she hit the gas, blasting my favorite revenge anthem as we drove off into my brand new life. No fiancé, no in-laws, no regrets. Final update *, I was sipping an iced latte on the balcony of my new apartment when my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I already knew who it was. I let it ring out, taking another sip of my coffee. A few seconds later, a voicemail popped up. Hey, it's me, Ethan. I rolled my eyes. I don't know if you'll ever listen to this, but I need to talk to you. His voice sounded tired. You ruined my life, you know that? My job, my reputation, my family, I snorted. Oh, Ethan, sweet, clueless Ethan. I didn't ruin his life. He did that all by himself. In the 12 months since I walked out of that wedding, my life had completely transformed. I moved into my own apartment, a bright, airy space with zero memories of Ethan or his awful family. I started traveling, doing things for me instead of trying to fit into someone else's world. And thanks to the absolutely unhinged level of internet fame from my wedding video, I had opportunities one never would have imagined. Podcasts. Interviews. Even a book deal. Mia called it my villain origin story. I called it finally living my freaking life. Ethan's life, on the other hand? A complete dumpster fire. His family lost investors because of the scandal. His father nearly disowned him. His mother, well, let's just say she wasn't getting invited to charity galas anymore. And Ethan himself? Last I heard, he was working at a different real estate firm, one without his father's name to protect him. He had a new girlfriend, of course, blonde, rich, exactly the kind of girl his family had wanted him to marry. But according to Melanie, his sister, the relationship was already falling apart. He's miserable, she texted me a few months ago. Mom still won't talk to him, Dad doesn't respect him, and his new girlfriend is a total nightmare. She sent another text right after, not that I'm defending him, but you really did a number on him. Kind of iconic, honestly. I laughed. Iconic indeed. One afternoon, I was at my favorite bookstore, flipping through a novel, when I felt someone staring at me. I turned my head, and there he was. Ethan. His hair was slightly messy, his suit not as crisp as I remembered. There were dark circles under his eyes, like he hadn't slept well in months. For a second, neither of us moved.